Thank you. Hi, everyone. I guess I don't need that mic, do I? Cool. Okay. Yeah, so this is about a personal project of mine that was running a monolithic app, and I've slowly been modernizing it. Alright, so yeah, I guess the title for it is Modernizing My Monolithic Financial Apps into SQS, NodeJS, Lambda APIs, and Mongo Atlas. What we're going to run through, about me, hobbies, disclaimer, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. Possibly a live demo, we'll see if the demo gods are with us. Quick background about myself, support operating systems background, Linux, Windows, Mac, got into cloud, DevOps, and SRE, and I'm now in the app modernization space at CMB Solutions, which is part of the Mantle Group. Mostly done AWS as far as the cloud space goes, but still learning Azure, I like it. Basic GCP, maybe eventually I'll get more into that, you'll see. Done things like work for family businesses, startups, fintechs, and up to large global enterprises. Hobbies, I like sports, I like being outdoors. Moving to Melbourne 3 years ago, I was in Sydney for 30 years. I moved to Sydney 3 years ago. Moved from Sydney to Melbourne. Got rid of my sporting life, but I'm struggling to get back to the gym. Struggling to get back into running. And yeah, besides that, I try to do creative writing on the side. Now, this is important because there's financial stuff involved. Standard disclaimer, past performance is not an indicator of future performance. It does not take into consideration your personal history or circumstances. This advice is general in nature. Please seek professional financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I did get qualified in Certificate 4 in Finance and Mortgage Broking at one stage. Probably never going to get into that at this stage. Right, phase 1. The MetaTrader 4 platform. It's been around forever, and it kind of looks like this. That's adding a whole lot of lines and indicators, as we call them. I've customized it to suit me, and automating it. Manually, you can trade with it, but when you've got a lot of currencies to deal with, or crypto, it's going to be hard to do all that with pickups. So what I did, also this was a personal project, and this is how I started. I don't know if there's a timestamp. 2019, I got into automating it by accident almost, because I thought I could click and it's going to do what I wanted to do. So yeah, you can buy, you can sell through code. It's MQL4, which is based on C++. And I got into it so much that line 331 and line 332, I'm not sure, hopefully you can all see it. I was running GitHub issues, and yeah, issue number 475 cannot open shorts, which are sell trades, if we comment this out. And then below that, 423, move this here because of something. Anyway, it got so big, all this code, it was too cumbersome, and I thought, I need to get away from it. So yeah, it turned into a monolith. Lots of bugs, cumbersome, and it kind of slowed down the EC2 instance or the Azure VM it was running on. So longer term, I did not want to keep it that way. I'd rip all my hair off otherwise. So phase 2, I split it off into containers. So Docker containers running on EC2 or Azure VM. I didn't get around to running it on ECS. I did get around to running it on Azure's app service though. At least for the Node.js APIs. And so I had 2 Node.js containers running, talking to the database, which is MongoDB, and 1 to do the control processing of the database, of the data, and deciding whether to run trades or not. another container running MongoDB. I kept it in the same instance because it's speed. Yeah, because it's speed. And it's kind of monolithic. Maybe I can show you some of that code. Show you some of that code. Yeah, so some of it was a front end. There's a password there that's not going to work anymore. That's fine. And I got to learn Express, and it was okay. Except it also got a bit too cumbersome and kind of monolithic. So I wanted to get away from that. But yeah, I guess let's go back into the slides. The platform side of things, whether it's on Azure or AWS, I tried to get the platform running on spinning up using Terraform in a Three Musketeers pattern, which is using, I guess, Makefiles, Docker containers for us. And what was the other piece? Docker Compose. CI/CD pipelines where possible. I tend to stick to GitHub Actions or GitLab CI/CD. Oh, there you go. There's that code that I had shown you all. And I shouldn't have put this in this slide, but this is what the data looked like when I sent it from the MetaTrader 4 platform to the database via the API. So, phase 3. Phase 1, phase 2. I was actively trading, so I did have an account that I used. I did gain money. I did lose money. And I guess the only advice I'd like to say is don't trust other people's robots if they don't have controls. Very big lesson for me. Phase 3, moving into serverless and a managed service. So by that I meant Mongo Atlas, which is, we'll talk about a bit later. The NodeJS code I've uplifted as well. So this is, I guess, also an app modernization talk. I was using AWS SAM CLI a lot, and I also decided to use SQS. Hey, heading title, subtitle. Okay. Well, here are the three pieces of that, and kind of high justification. Mongo Atlas, it's at least no longer inside a Docker container. It's secure by default. Multi-cloud, which is important for me. And ideally, maybe we can potentially upgrade it from one tier to another. So the tier that I'm on now, it's just a shared tier. It's free. I want to also experiment with Mongo Atlas Serverless, see what that's like. SQS, Amazon's simple queue service, which has Lambda integration. And I'll be using the SQS to, I guess, relay instructions from the control node, which is running on Node.js, or will be running on Node.js. Again, Node.js, as I said, uplifting it to version 16, moving it to serverless, and the trading data, using these APIs and code will go to SQS and then MongoDB. So that works. And the control node is work in progress. I'm still uplifting that. Why Mongo Atlas? So, AWS, Google Cloud, Azure. I guess for me, that's great. I can run this on 3 different cloud platforms. For this one, it's free, at least until I test the unit. And why not? Yeah, it's multi-cloud. It's a managed service. I don't need to deal with the Docker container. I don't need to spin it up in an EC2 instance or anything. And yeah, there are various tiers, and this is I signed up for the lowest one, which is an M0 sandbox. Amazon Simple Queue Service, SQS. I've dealt with RabbitMQ before, but not too deeply. And I thought it might be what I need as a missing piece of the puzzle when it comes to the trading and deciding whether to spin up more trades, which is can be a good thing depending upon the market, or start closing out trades. It was hard to do that with the phase 1 and phase 2 that I had, and I keep thinking, what do I need? And SQS will hopefully do that for me. It's got Lambda integration. As you can see down there at the bottom, I created a Lambda using AWS SAM, and I just left it called a hello world function. I did that manually, by the way. And I was quite happy when the messages available moved from 0 to 2 when I was testing it out. I was quite happy about that. I was testing with either just from the command line on my laptop, just using AWS's command line, and I wanted to try it out. Sending messages to SQS from a container, but I thought, no, let's just go try it from serverless, from Lambda. And yeah, this is what it looked like, the body of the message, of one of those messages. And NodeJS, 16.x, Lambda. As I said, AWS SAM, CLI, which I can do a demonstration of. I love the VS Code extensions for AWS as well as for Azure. It just helps so much. And there's still some refactoring required. Here is some of this looks like the template that on the left-hand side. That's modified template from AWS SAM. And on the right that looks like code to send data to MongoDB. And this looks like output from the Lambda, output from one of the Lambdas, from API Gateway to SQS. And maybe a live demo. Let's see. Let's hope the demo gods are with us today. Oh, that's not it. Oh, well, here is code from MetaTrader. I just test once for now. Let's change this. Actually, that's not the right place for me to change it right now. All right, SQS. My queue is called indicators for the, I guess, the data that's sent from the trading system. I click on the wrong thing. Send and receive messages. There shouldn't be any messages right now. It's taking a lot longer than I expected. All right, while that's doing that, let's connect to MongoDB. So here's some data that I put in there earlier. That's good. All right, let's populate this. Let's add more to it. We're not going to update that directly. That defeats the purpose. Let's log into the trading instance, which is this. So we know we are live. Okay, I'm not sure if you can all see that. At the moment, it's got, so I'm doing this manually right now, just as a demonstration, but the ideal state is for all of this to be done in code. And using API gateway, APIs, let's change this to GBP USD. So British pound against the US dollar. This period here of 5 is 5 minutes. So if you go into, if we go into this, this represents that currency pair. British pound against the US dollar, and 5 that you saw was 5 minutes here. Let's change it to a much larger time frame, which is 1 hour, which is, I guess, 60. This is what it looks like for 4 hours. So each of these bars indicate one period of whatever that is. So let's go back to M1 to demonstrate. Zoom in. So each one of these lines, spikes, bars, demonstrates 1 minute of trading data. People buying and selling this currency pair. Was it 60? And all this is going to do, it's not going to do any trading. I just want this data from all of these currencies that you see here. I'm not going to explain what they are. What happened there? Demo gods are not with me today. Meanwhile, let me go update my code. Okay, great. Panic mode off. Okay, let's go and comment this out. Let's remove. And I'm just going to compile it. And that looks like it compiled okay. And let's see if we can scan the database. Okay, well, let me stop that. Actually, that's probably too much. And let me also do the same thing except for another currency. Euro versus Swiss franc. Euro CHF. All right, that's probably too much now. And let's go see what happened with SQS, whether it's reflected anything, whether it's complaining about anything. Let's go maybe look at some statistics and graphs. Ideally, we shouldn't see anything here, actually, because the SQS to Lambda integration is meant to remove the messages once they've been processed. So this might be a good sign. Let's look at monitoring. NPCs. I don't know what that means. Okay, maybe it didn't do anything. Let's go to Lambda. This is a good opportunity to go look at it from... Okay, let me just log back into that account. And let's use an AWS SAM command to go find out whether anything's happened. And duplicate keys, fine. Okay, maybe something worked. All right, let's go have a look at MongoDB database and see if there's anything new. And we have more data. Great. And that's pretty much what we wanted. We've got data here for British pound versus USD, and we've got some data here for the Euro versus Swiss franc. Cool. Great. To me, that's success. I should do something about some of these errors about duplicate keys, but that's a story for another day. All right, phase 4. Next steps. I want to be able to use the FSM parameter store and whatever the Azure equivalent is. So instead of having those currencies hard-coded, some of the time frames appeared, then it could all be in SSM parameter store, possibly easier to modify it rather than it being hard-coded in. I want to re-platform this, the phase 3 into Azure, so at least I can have it working in either. And one could be a DR of the other one. Newer versions of Windows, so I want to see if I can get MetaTrader 4 running on Windows Server 2019. And there's a 2022 or something out now, I don't know. Newer versions of the trading platform, there is a MetaTrader 5 that's been around for a few years, but I don't know if my code will work on that. Using APIs and other brokers as well, and a nice front end. So I'm not from a dev background, so coding a front end would be at least a decent one. It's a pipe dream for me right now, but why not? And Embark, question mark. So, Arian and Tony know about this. Mantle Group, which CMD Solutions is part of, had recently started a startup incubator, its name internally was Embark. I'm not sure if we're going to call it something else. But it's a way for Mantle Group, I guess, to create a new brand from within, based on ideas that we might have, or products. And I was thinking of submitting this into our Embark program, and get to go on a little trip to Magnetic Island. But then I thought, I don't think I want to keep this IP for myself for now. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe in the future, maybe a different version of all this could be something that I could pitch in the next Embark. We'll see. And yeah, thank you very much. Any questions? Yeah.
What changes you have to split that out?
Sorry, Express was in phase 2, not serverless yet, but I'm thinking. Yeah. I need to make sure that each piece of code, each Lambda was doing only one task, and hopefully do it well. If it comes down to the front end, and I don't know if Express will work on serverless, I guess split that up as well the same way, and just make sure everything is secure, everything's efficient, and if something does break, at least it will only affect one small part. Hope that answered your question. But moving from phase 1, which is just in the MetaTrader, over to a NodeJS API and MongoDB database, that was that was revolutionary for me. I thought, I can't keep doing it like this. Let's find out different ways of doing things. Over there in the back. Yes. Using AWS SAM, the way I did from, oh, actually, we can do a demo of it as well while I talk. From Visual Studio Code, I wasn't used to it. I wasn't used to just how quick I could do something. And it just worked. And I didn't have to, like previously I had used, for deploying Lambdas, Terraform, Terragrunt. I think I've dabbled with CDK at one stage. But yeah, I guess this was something for me to get used to, that it actually, just worked a lot better than I expected. And I might keep doing it like this because I enjoy it, I guess. Let's just create a new folder. Let's put it in Lambda. Let's just call it demo, uppercase, open. SQS, I guess I had issues with because I've not used it before, just getting used to the way things are formatted, and how to send messages to the queue, receive messages from the queue, from the command line as well as from code. That was a bit of a challenge. I had an issue where grabbing some of that data from SQS, grabbing a message and looking at the data, and trying to just manipulate that data, or at least look at it so that I can send it to MongoDB or something. There's a big difference between record with an uppercase R and record with a lowercase r. And it took me hours to see that. And so I'm hoping that one of these days we can get VS Code, like a clippy from VS Code that can just go, oh, perhaps you mean uppercase R for record. But anyway, let's do it. Let's have a look. Let's go. Oh. I got too distracted. Any more questions? There you go. Cool. It did it. Go to Sam. Let's not look at that right now. Let's just go look for the code. No, don't open up new. Okay. Demo. There you go. Demo in uppercase. So yeah, there's a new template right here. And the code, it puts it in hello world app.js. I end up moving it. But just like this, I could go and deploy it. Let's go and deploy it. If I right click on the template, there's a deploy SAM application. Thank you for the AWS extensions. Let's go deploy it to Sydney. Let's just go use that backend, and let's call it my test demo. Enter. And the output, so the output right here has been so handy. And let's unclick that, let's already unclick. Also, AWS SAM uses cloud formation. So, which is, I guess, one reason why I try to stay away from it. Yes. Yeah, no worries. Read lots of documentation. Play around. AWS SAM is a good place to start. Just deploy, break it, fix it, deploy it again, make it better, and just find a use case that will work for you, that will make you want to use it more and more. A lot of my serverless experience had been using fixing maintenance scripts that were running on Python, and yeah, that got me more familiar with serverless. Lately, I had been dabbling with code for one of CMD's and Digio's clients. Digio is the, I guess, the digital arm of the Mantle Group. Lots of software engineers, talented platform engineers too. Yeah, they had lots of NodeJS code that was running on older versions, and I had to try and redeploy it to newer versions because those older versions of Node 8 and 10 were not supported anymore. And it got me to learn a bit of the serverless framework as well. So that's another option. So serverless framework versus, I guess, using something like AWS SAM CLI. You can also use the AWS console to deploy code into. But yeah, and this is successfully deployed. So if I go into this URL, I can just talk to this Lambda this API that I've just deployed. Let's do that. Where is Tenor? Actually, let's do that from a browser. Hello. Cool. Yes. I wanted to stay away from I guess, a proper relational database, and I wanted to try out NoSQL, which is, I guess, what Mongo is. Also, I wanted to stay away from DynamoDB because it's specifically AWS, while MongoDB, I could just take that into another cloud platform if I wanted to. Not off the top of my head, but it will be all on their website. MongoDB. Yep. Oh, okay. Let me try that. SOCKS. Aha. Thank you. Oh, and what happened there? Anyway, we got this out. Yes. Which what, sorry?